It's not so much about the personality that's inside, but the expertise which we all need now in these crazy pandemic times. So we are attempting to help each other through this process of managing our mental health. And today's guest is a gentleman whose daughter we spoke with yesterday in a different context. Dr. Leahcim Semaj, how you doing?
Alive and well.
And proud, Daddy.
Proud.
welcome.
Proud buck.
Understood clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many reasons to be proud, including your expertise, which is what we're pulling on this morning in our mental health feature. You are a quantum transformation psychologist. What that means?
Well, I'm about change, but not just gradual change. Change is possible in a dramatic way. You cannot hear something and boom, it makes sense and your life change. That's what I work with. How to get that change.
And you do that through your company, Above and Beyond. And
no,
we need
above or beyond.
Above or beyond.
Yeah.
I was going to say we need help from above or beyond with dealing with the stress of relationships.
We certainly do. We certainly do. Relationship.
Let's talk about, go on.
Yeah, relationship is we have overlooked this one. It's a major casualty of the pandemic.
Why do you say that? What are you seeing?
Okay. Well, the global data is just incredible. You remember growing up and different times we would do fantasy games, and what if you were stuck on a desert island? Who would you want to be with? I don't think a lot of people would choose their present partner. Now, how they have tolerated, how many relationships have survived over the years is on what I call a franchise model. Franchise
model.
Yes.
Go on talk, man, listen.
In that there's one person who provides A, another person provides B, another person provides C. But even though you may be technically married to D, now with the franchise, you are able to tolerate D much longer. Because by the time you get home at night, so many of your needs have been satisfied with A and B and C. Now, picture a situation where now, with the lockdowns and the quarantines, you are now forced to spend an inordinate amount of time with D. All the weaknesses start to show up. All the issues start to come to the surface. And the Jamaican saying that anyway, Marga, it pop. The data around the world last year was a dramatic year in terms of the number of persons who literally filed for divorce globally. Also, the number of persons who searched online for how do I get a divorce? How is the best way to end a relationship or end a marriage? So we also see it turn up in terms of domestic violence because the frustration leads to aggression. So there's a lot more. This was predicted long before the pandemic. In pandemics, relationships, and especially domestic violence, because now you are trapped. Picture the woman who was 2 years ago decided, boy, you see come 2020, me gone, me done with this. And she was planning her exit. But then come the pandemic and the lockdown. There's no exit. There's no place to go. You can't just disappear. So a lot of relationships have been under pressure, and many have broken, and more will break. The only thing worse than 2020 will be 2021, because the pressure built up then. Now add to this now, look, loss of job, loss of income, loss of mobility, and the person closest to you sometimes bears the brunt of the problem. So,
all right. So we're talking around it generally. Give us some examples for those folks who want to visually see what you want. So you're saying we're stuck in this room and some little something we never like long time all of a sudden become big things.
Exactly, because you were able to tolerate it before, Because by the time you get home, you spend time here so and there so and there so, and you come some time, all right, we can just tolerate it for one more night. So that every little thing now start to add up. So
So
now,
here we are in this space
hmm
where these things are magnified because of the the lockdown space, the focus that has to be here. What we must do?
well, you shouldn't turn an accident into a tragedy. So that if it's going to get to that, listen, it's better if you end it. I have a term which I call constructive disengagement. Hmm? You constructively disengage it. Let us decide to go our own way. And by the way, till death do us part. Some people misunderstand what I mean. It means till the death of the relationship, not till we kill each other.
Hold on, Dr. Semaj. So you say everybody that's miserable and I cannot take first almost in the relationship before I kill him?
Well, if that's the alternative, you can't. Me never tell you. So
Right, but
me
hold
now
on.
come visit you. Me now come visit you,
Isn't that
ladies,
the
come on.
extreme? Isn't that the extreme? Are
No,
there
no.
other options, methods
We'll
of
get there.
dealing with
No, we'll get
annoyances?
there. We'll get there. But not every step was intended to be a stop. People come into your life for a season or for a reason. Very few people come into your life forever. All right, so let's acknowledge that. A lot of relationships were built on very, very faulty grounds. You meet him look cute, and bam, bam, bam. Next thing you know, him leave him toothbrush at your house. Next thing you know, him leave a shirt, and before you know it, him living there. And next thing you know, Francois, I miss my period. And where you tell me that for? A lot of relationships start like that. So all right, let's now one option we have, can we have a serious conversation that we should have had 5 years ago, 10 years ago? That's one option. Time to have, since we're not going nowhere for a while, since we're locked down in this together, can we have some serious conversations? And I think if you are willing to have the serious conversations that you should have had a long time ago, it is possible that you can save it. But the question is, do you really want to have that serious conversation? Hello?
So
Anybody home?
you are yes. I'm trying to place the situation you are presenting in perspective. So there are different things that people may be experiencing. One of which is in situations where they were together not through the best of choices, but just through circumstance.
Circumstances.
It now gets in that instance. It now gets worse, and you're saying perhaps it's time to have a conversation about whether the relationship should continue or not.
No, or even let's say if it's going to continue, we have to renegotiate it. Huh? Let's because a lot of relationships were never negotiated. You just drifted into a pattern.
Okay.
It just happened. So here's a chance now. Maybe since we're not going anywhere, get a Snicker bar. Not going anywhere for a while, okay? Let's just see if we can work through this. You may need help. You may need a close friend who knows both of you. You may need to call a psychologist, somebody who can help you to navigate it. So that's clearly one option. Let's renegotiate. Let's navigate the space that we are now in. Let us define the parameters, huh? The rights and the responsibilities, and see if we can save this. If you think it's worth saving, because look, there's 3 children involved. We own a house. Da 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 da. So having done that, but the alternative, if having done all the add and the subtraction and the plus, you both realize that listen, we should never have really been together in the first place. You find a way to constructively disengage it. Don't make it broke down and pop and somebody have to kill somebody and all of that. You constructively disengage it. Oh, and by the way, the law of parenting still stands. Anybody who is so rewarded to have a child, it is your responsibility for the next 18 years at least to feed, clothe, shelter, educate, positively socialize, irrespective of divorce, breakup, or death. So that continues. There's a saying in Jamaica that men don't pay child support, they pay for sex. So once there's no more sex, why? Me don't know, me don't mind, no, the man pick me.
What about the other situations that are not as dire?
Okay.
We're in a relationship, but Francois just keeps leaving the toilet seat up to use a.
Yes, that's a common one.
No, right. It's now exacerbated because, as you mentioned, we're here every day. We don't have the opportunity for release of stressors, so it builds up.
Yes.
How do we deal with those that are not relationship ending types of situations?
We have to
What
decide
are
if
the challenges?
some things that are not deal breaker, and this, we say, look, I'm going to start live with it. Or tell you what, when I go in the bathroom, I will not walk in backwards, and just I will first look to see if the toilet seat is up. I will do that. Now, what are you willing to do for me? I will not. So literally, it still comes down to negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of this, Paula, however, there's some other relationships now that may be starting now and last year, which may actually go much better. Why? Slow burn. People will take a longer time. You're just talking every night. You're on the phone every night. You're sending messages every night. You're doing, direct messaging. So you're actually taking time to get to know the person by having these long conversations that other relationships never had because boom, bang, bang, and you're together. So that that's the other side of it now. Some relationships that are starting in the pandemic have a much better basis on which for surviving. But if you're already in a situation, I do believe the first thing is to try to save it. Conversation, talk.
We want to thank you, Dr. Semaj. We have to wrap up. If folks want to contact you because they would like your guidance through the process, what is the means?
Info at Above or Beyond JM. That's really where everything comes through that my website, aboveorbeyondjm.com.
Above or Beyond JM.com.
And all the social media. I do a live about 10 o'clock each day, on again all Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, so I can be found.
Okay, and you will be found. Thank you so much for being our guest this morning.
Have a wonderful day, Paula.
You too. Dr. Leahcim Semaj with us as we